Howdy. Mountain water. That's my paper which got published in the New Concepts in Global Tectonics. A new approach to mountain forming, volcanism, glaciers, and the role of water in an electric environment. And we have to scroll down until we reach the part with water streams and clouds. Repetitive patterns aren't only present in biology. Like a tree always forming the same shape of leaves, for example, they are also present in geology, some visible with the naked eyes, and some aren't. The invisible repetitive patterns in questions are cyclical events like eruption rhythms. The actual eruption and its consequences are visible, but the timeline pattern cannot be seen unless numbers are used, put in a row and compared to each other. Like in nature, with only one number, you won't get the solution. You need something to compare to, at least one other number. You will end up searching for a repetitive patterns made out of numbers. This undermines the strength of repetitive patterns as evidence, with or without numbers. Numbers aren't found anywhere in nature. Yeah, I have never ever found any number in the forest, near the lake, or at the river, or on top of a mountain. Never. If I would find the 3, 4, or 7, or 12, and I would this present to people, they probably would sue me of suffering from pareidolia. Because there aren't any numbers. Numbers aren't found anywhere in nature, and nothing starts from zero. Numbers are just a tool and not the explanation itself. They can be used to make things visible, but also to obscure them. The Alps aren't just a random accumulation of rocks which every now and then get wet through rain or freeze over in wintertime. It is a very active area. Thousands of wells, dozens of glaciers, rockfalls, landslides, flash floods, geothermal activity, many holy places, and thousands of people living there. It is all part of the bigger picture. The mountains are active, alive, and they interact with their environment continuously, mostly silently, without causing any harm or interruption in the environment. People depend on the activity of the Alps. They need the water pouring out of the rocks. Their activity and aliveness is the very reason for people living there since thousands of years in the first place. As shown earlier, there is a continuous energy exchange happening between ground and sky, everywhere. The variability and the fluctuations of these exchanges are getting more and more researched, since the understanding of them makes it possible to predict earthquakes, something which is still seen as impossible by many mainstream scientists. The word science is derived from the word nescience, which means being in a state of not knowing. Therefore, the only goal of science should be the goal of understanding, but it seems there is a wall of ignorance towards certain things, despite the international standard of scientific papers being peer-reviewed, which should give it equal credibility in comparison to other peer-reviewed papers. Many very important papers in history of science are ignored. Their recognition would end much of the modern science research immediately. The mystery would cease to exist, and therefore the research too. There would be plenty of research to be done afterwards, of course, but science would make a step further. A paradigm shift would occur. They might also happen in cycles. The ongoing paradigm cycle lasts already for approximately 150 years. It is time for a change. Science seems to have settled to keep alive their mysteries. Like monks in a monastery, the modern scientific community will continue to refuse systematically to take in any new information, defend their own truth as the only one, and will be repeating the same mantras over and over again. Yeah, I feared that he would do that. They also like to keep mysteries alive because that's the easiest way to keep the money flowing into their businesses, such as geological survey institutes and the search for black holes. Their goal is to make as much profit as possible, which has absolutely nothing to do with the search for truth. The amount of evidence their paradigm is wrong grows daily. Many of the clues haven't been hidden. They were there, in plain sight, all the time. We just must watch them from a different perspective and use an open mind. It is very interesting to research locations where earthquakes occur. Are there water veins or other water bodies? Do we find any signs of possible recent activity? Are there thermal springs, glaciers, concrete or other mining operations, caves, lakes, rivers, mineral water springs, holy places like churches or monasteries, dams, etc., in the vicinity of the quake? All of these are very important clues which should be taken into account in order to get a more holistic picture of the situation that takes many aspects into account other than just geology. The following picture is from Google Earth. I found this picture while checking out an earthquake in an interesting region of the Alps. It is a very nice example of an energy exchange between Earth and sky. Maybe it could be called something like an alpine urging spine, since the primary principle is the same. Yeah, I know the picture quality is really bad, but I hope you can see that there is a mountain and there is a cloud rising from the mountain. It's in Sterzing, Italy, Brennerbad, near Brennerbad. The healing spring was first mentioned around 1400. Prince Sigismund, the rich in coins, and his wife Eleanor of Scotland were already looking for relaxation here. Around 1460. Figure 14 shows quite likely an energy exchange between ground and sky. It has undeniable visual similarities with a breathing volcano. The location is in the Italian Alps, in the Bolzano region. I am not sure about the name of the mountain in question, but I guess it's the Rollspitze. Yeah. Look at that. That's amazing, ain't that? Now we have to scroll until the end. Yeah, there's I will put a link below. You can check it out, the whole paper. I recommend you to read it before you make any hasty conclusions about whatever. Possibly. Glacier carrying mountains and mountains with craters on top which are fed with groundwater. Hence lakes should be called cryptoglaciers because they are active geological features. They should be treated with respect because they can be very dangerous. Millions of people live within the Alps region, many probably totally unaware of the danger potential of their environment, while glaciers are considered as contemporary lava streams made of water. Yes, I came to the conclusion that glaciers are contemporary lava streams made of water, which means it is part of a volcano, which do erupt with water, each according to its own frequency. This explains glaciers in a totally different context from the commonly accepted science. By the way, Grímsvötn volcano in Iceland is one of Europe's biggest volcanoes, and it is buried under Europe's biggest glacier. This may be not so much of a coincidence after all. So now let's hop over quickly to Japan. Spectacular sight, and we are on weather and radar. That's some webpage, obviously, I don't know. I just searched a picture. Spectacular sight, multiple lenticular clouds over Mount Fuji. I think that you know that Mount Fuji is a volcano. Look at this picture. What do you think? That's a volcano, and I have been talking about energy exchanges from mountains, especially volcanoes. I made several volcanic plasma phenomena videos and stuff like that. And I think there is an energy going like this, and because the energy is going both directions, the magnetic field is perpendicular to the current. And there could be also eddy currents involved in that. It's a little bit hard to draw. But eddy currents, I think they are involved in that too. Now, this could be a very long video, but I tried to keep it as short as possible. But anyway, let's read quickly what they have to tell about this. Weather people. Weather and radar. And I have to just... I know I don't have to. I would like to remind you that weather, some 15 years or more ago, I thought that, yeah, probably I would like to study meteorology. And then it turned out that you have to be a very good mathematical head. You need to be able to calculate whatever mathematical things. And I am not a mathematician. I'm not this kind of a witch. I don't really like numbers in the first place. But anyway, this fantastic... Yeah, anyway, about the weather thing... Yeah, you need to be a mathematician. And once I figured out or found out that why you have to be a mathematician if you want to study meteorology is because meteorology, the whole science, is based on the chaos theory, the butterfly effect and stuff like that. So in order to conquer the chaos, which means they don't understand it, otherwise they wouldn't base some theory on chaos. They try to conquer chaos with mathematics. That's the only way they have. That's why they have to use all those supercomputers and stuff in order to conquer the chaos. But I don't think it's like that. And now let's just have a quick read on that. This fantastic photo showcases the epitome of multiple lenticular clouds over Mount Fuji in Japan. Such lens-shaped cloud formations form when fast-moving, warm, moist air sweeps over mountainous terrain. When the air rises over the mountain, it cools. This causes excess water vapor to condense, leading to the lens-shaped or saucer-like clouds on the leeward side of the mountain. The air sinks again, becoming warmer and drier, causing the cloud to dissolve again. In extreme cases, this wave-like air movement continues far from the mountains, and lens clouds may also form. Due to the stationary up and down movement of the air, the clouds remain visible in the same place. Also, the wind increases considerably at altitude. So I don't know. This sounds a very strange explanation. How something such geometrical as this could be explained by wind sweeping over the mountain. Obviously, you can see it's going all over the mountain. It's all around the peak. So, that's a volcano. We have the energy exchange which creates these clouds in the shapes they do, lenticular clouds. And that's a volcano. It's Mount Fuji in Japan. So, the reason why I made this video is because... was it yesterday, 2 days ago, I stumbled across some news which I found very, very, very interesting. There now have been also writing even about this one particular cloud in Turkey, in Bursa, the Bursa precursor cloud, remember, possibly. But anyway, that was also an exchange between the ground and the heavens. Altocumulus lenticularis. UFO alarm in the valleys, Switzerland, Alpes. That's behind the cloud spectacle. On Friday night, a cloud spectacle took place over the Monte Rosa Massif. The rare lenticular cloud, Altocumulus lenticularis, could be observed. I want to point out that it happened in the night. So you can't say it was the sun heating up the rocks which made the moisture rise, because it happened in the night. This happened in the Swiss Alps some 2 days ago or something. And it happened in the night. The clouds formed shortly after midnight. Yes. So the sun wasn't shining. It didn't heat up some rocks and there was moisture evaporating and it rose up because it was warm and stuff like that in the middle of the night. This happened over the Alps, and I have been writing in my mountain water paper that I think I came to the conclusion, I had an epiphany about this, that glaciers are lava streams made of water, which makes the mountain carrying the glacier a volcano. And volcanoes are the places where we probably have the most energy exchange between the grounds and the heavens. Because these clouds are usually observed around or over volcanoes. And now we have it in the Alps. Yeah, it doesn't really work with Zoom. Now it works better. Just look at this. In the mid of the night, there wasn't any sun shining or whatsoever. That's something very interesting. And there is also, like, I have been making a few videos and talking about this, where we have Mont Blanc in I think it's still Switzerland, maybe it's France. Doesn't matter, it's the Alps region. But there is something going on in that mountain. There are many glaciers on top of that. And that's not over this massive where the earthquake activity is happening. I think I tried to figure out where exactly this happened, but I didn't have really time to dive into that too deep, but this is just too exciting not to show to you that this happened in the Alps region. And probably what we have in the foreground here, that's a glacier. I don't know. But we have similar clouds over Mount Fuji and in the Alps. No one ever considered any volcano being within the Alps region. I did. And I have been talking about the clouds and the mountains. Now we have this. Maybe this happened earlier already. If I would have known that, if I would have seen pictures about this, you could be 100% sure one of these pictures would have made it into the mountain water paper. But there isn't any. So, as far as I remember, this is the first time I see something like this. That's very interesting. Yeah. Maybe the Alps are waking up. In other words, there could be a lot of water. Very much water. As in the Bible is said, the mountains started to cry. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this. I hope, if you never ever heard about this kind of thing, think about this. Make your own research, make up your own mind. I don't expect anyone to believe me. Believe your own eyes, believe what you find out, believe what conclusions you come up with after learning about this particular topic. But anyway, I tried to make a short video. This got very long. But that's really amazing. That's amazing. Whoa. Thank you, Alps. This seems to be very cool evidence for what I have been talking. Thank you.